A dealership GM walked into a leadership training, 38-day reconditioning time, $87 a day per car in lost profit. What happened next saved over $1 million, and it all started with one question.
Welcome to It Doesn't Take a Genius.
Ramsey!
Did you like my Morgan Freeman voice?
Oh, that was beautiful, man. I got like goosebumps on the back of my neck, little hairs standing up on my arms. That was good.
I'm just trying to honor. Should we pull back the curtain a little bit? I was trying to honor what ChatGPT said we should do.
Yes, yeah.
Terrified by saying that. Terrified to say that.
We thought, all right, we want to introduce. For those of you who haven't heard, Mark and I's latest book, The Inquiring Leader, is on shelves. It's out. It's on Amazon, ready for purchase. And we consulted the artificial intelligence overlords, the Skynet version, and said, hey, we got this wonderful book. How do we introduce it? And it gave us an idea for an episode.
It did indeed, and it fits along with the way a lot of other books have been launched. You know, we're gonna share some of the book. We're gonna share some good stuff. So that's sort of why we're here today. We'll be talking about our book, The Inquiring Leader, and here let's set the stage. If you're still relying on telling instead of asking, if there's a part of you that just is like, why won't these people do what I need them to do? Why do I keep having these same problems? This episode, frankly, might sting a little.
Oh, definitely. The reality is that after about age 2, nobody on the planet wants to be told what to do. We don't like it before age 2. We just can't voice it.
You just can't say it. That's right.
We just can't fight back. We can't rebel against the machine. So the idea that leading and relying on telling is not getting you everything that you need as a leader seems pretty intuitive.
And everything you need, let's just be really specific about that. There is a business impact of leading with questions, and that's really what we're here to talk about. Is one of the stories that we share in the book that is something we both experienced. Some of the stories are yours, some are mine. This one we both got a chance to be a part of. Do you want to maybe set up a little bit of the story? We're gonna, of course, keep people, our sources confidential, but this is an actual story from our work together.
Oh yeah, chapter 1. The idea that as you alluded to, a dealership general manager, he comes to one of our workshops, and we have the idea of a capstone project, and we say, all right, pick something big, cross departmentally, that if solved would have a dramatic impact on the, as you call it, the three lenses, right? The employees, the dealership, and the customers.
Yeah.
And so it was easy in that particular store. This one was kind of just out there, and he'd inherited a pretty big mess. And the idea of reconditioning vehicles, we call it time to line in automotive retail. And it's the idea from the point that you purchase a car to resell at your dealership, or the beloved customer trades in their treasured used vehicle, from the time that we acquire those vehicles, run them through service, get them cleaned up, take photos, write descriptions, have them on the internet and on the lot ready to sell. That's what we mean by reconditioning. In this particular store, it was taking, as Mark said in the opening, 38 days from acquisition to vehicle ready to sell. Mm-hmm. Had this been fresh fruit, yeah, you can see the problem. But what most people who are not in automotive don't understand is that cars, for some reason, are pretty much like fresh fruit. If you sell them in the first few days that you own them as the dealership, they tend to do very well. You make a nice profit and things like that. And so the CFO had come to speak to us that day for this particular group, and he put a number on it. He said, every day that your car is not ready to sell it costs you $87 a day in lost profitability for that vehicle.
For that, just that
$87.
car.
Yeah, just on that car, you're losing $87 a day. All right. So not a math whiz, but if you think 38 times 87,
Yep.
as you can tell, we're now losing money on every single vehicle that we're trying to sell. And the only way, as you know, the only way to make up for, losing money on every vehicle is volume.
Right.
We're losing money on every one. How are we going to fix that? We'll sell more. No, that's not going to work. So the idea was, right, Kenny put together a team, and this team would have to be cross-functional. Somebody from every single department in the dealership, from acquisition to service to sales to cleanup to marketing. I've got to get everybody to come together. And can I get this time to line down from 38 days to somewhere close to the industry average, which, depending on who you talk to, could be anywhere from 5 to 10 days.
Yep.
And so the outcome was, right after applying things from the book, subtle plug, that they were able to reduce their time to line from 38 days to 5 days. And they calculated that was a savings of $1.2 million.
It's kind of a big number.
Yeah, 1.2 million. It's nothing to sneeze at.
And you, I believe I'm going to give you a little more credit because you glossed over the question we posed to him and to the rest of the class. What is your biggest challenge or opportunity? Right. And you put some caveats on it. Like you said, we invite them to look at the three lenses of, how's this going to affect the store, the employees, the customer. But you also suggested to them it needs to be high impact, cross departmental, and unsolvable by one person. So you asked the question and gave it some parameters, and that was what our friend decided to wrestle with once he heard the CFO's $87 a day per car number. Very, very interesting to watch the wheels turn as they put that question into their head, and everybody in the class was doing the same thing. His was perhaps the most dramatic in his answer for that go round, but it was absolutely just asking the question and giving them a chance with some data, with some parameters to say, okay, what do you see? What are your thoughts as you reflect on this and start thinking what would make us better?
Oh yeah, and the idea that one person can't solve it.
Right.
As the leader, I should be able to wave my magic wand and make this better.
Yep.
But when you've got the intricacy and the complexity of multiple departments having to work together, almost by default, you think the only way to fix this is to get everybody who touches this into the same room at the same time,
right,
and start asking questions. Right, and one of the things we talked about was the IKEA effect.
Yeah.
The idea that people rarely oppose something that they build.
Yep.
And so if I help to create the new process, the new systems for getting these cars done faster, I'm less likely to oppose that. He could have sat in his office, had what Dan Heath calls a guessathon. And he's going to guess at what the obstacles are. He's going to guess at where the roadblocks are. He's going to guess at what would make it better, craft a plan, come down like Moses from the mount, present the tablets, and tell them to do it. And if anybody out there, which I think most of us have, been involved in an initiative like that, you know how frustrating that is.
100%.
He has no idea what he's talking about. This will never work. I don't think he even thought about, right? These are all the phrases that come after the presentation of the guessathon output, right? The plan from higher up.
100%. And when you think about he had to go do that with his team, right? We gave him a question, some parameters, some data, and he formulated a little bit of something where he could say, I can take ownership of this. Well, he could have taken ownership by doing what you just said, becoming Moses on the mountain. Instead, he assembles a team. He gives them the question and some data and says, what do you guys think we could do here?
Mhm.
I know you're a big fan of the Oz Principle, the book The Oz Principle, and sort of this the definition of accountability as per that book. And I'm going to butcher this, but it is about saying I'm going to take ownership of what I can take ownership for, and you're tempted to say, and I will carry the burden of everything. I will go solve the problems. I am the king. But in our friend's case here, it was the exact opposite. What he could take ownership for was going and asking a question with some data,
Mhm.
but going and working with his team to ask a question and getting them to start this process of what could we do here?
Right. And be clear, the general manager is a smart guy.
Oh,
He
super.
he very well could have written the perfect process.
Yep.
He's done many jobs within the store. He understands Slick. Maybe he practiced Genji Gambutsu, where he went to the
Huh?
source and
Yep.
did a little look see. Even if he'd have crafted the perfect process, we know from experience that when you hand it to somebody, they automatically resist.
Yeah.
And
And
so yeah, not saying he couldn't have figured it out, but there's more to just figuring out. I got to figure it out, and then I got to get people to buy in and do it.
and as I recall, he didn't even do the math for them. He gave them the same numbers and they went, "Hey, wait a minute. Let me multiply something really fast here. That's over $1 million a year." So
Yeah,
it,
yeah. Hey, that
it,
explains why we're losing $2,000 a car. Yeah, oh, yeah, and yeah, he allowed them to discover right through their pocket calculators.
right.
Yeah, some of this attention getting, as we call it, the why
Yep.
behind the initiative. Why are we choosing? There's many things we could be doing right now. Why are we choosing this one? Oh, I just did some calculating.
Yep.
This one is killing us.
This is a big deal. Uh, one more thing about that is, the idea of having those people in the room doing those kinds of calculations, wrestling with the same question that you wrestled with. It is the IKEA effect. And, and we've said this on the podcast, we say it in the book, but if they weigh in, they'll buy in, right?
Mhm.
If they get that chance to be invested in it, they're invested in it, and they would like to see it come to fruition. So there's something really special here of moving away from telling, injecting some inquiry, some discovery, some curiosity, where they get a chance to play with this, and then they come out supportive of the thing that they helped create.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We're fond of saying your perfect idea implemented with 50% enthusiasm
Yep.
is not going to be nearly as good as an okay idea that they implement with 100% enthusiasm.
That's it.
I will
That's it.
find a way to make my idea work, even
Yeah.
if it's not the best.
Yeah. Notice we
And,
haven't even talked about the solution that they came up with. It almost doesn't matter, right? Like there's
right.
some really clever things they did. There was a system, there was a process. A lot of people had to get together and say, okay, I understand what we're doing here. I'll have to give a little, you'll have to give a little. But yeah, the problem solved. Did we mention how much it was solved? I can't remember if we've actually said. 38 days down to last as of printing, 5 days. I think it's
Yep.
actually less than that now.
Yeah, yeah. I think they've tightened it up even more since the book went to press. Yeah.
Right.
The
So,
So yeah, the idea of what they did is not nearly as important to our listeners, both
yeah,
of them, to what did he do, right? And what questions did he ask? And so in the book we've got some of our favorite questions,
yeah.
and none of them wildly. When you hear them, you're not going to be like, oh, yeah, that's genius, right?
Oh,
It goes with our
exactly.
podcast. It doesn't take a genius.
That's exactly right.
But yeah, if you get people together and it looks like you sincerely want to know the answer to these questions, and that you're open to ideas, you're open to listening, a simple question like, all right, So it's taken us 38 days to get these cars, to the line to sell. What's getting in our way?
Yep.
That's it. All right, write that down. What's getting in our way?
Yep.
Like, yeah. And you'd be amazed how many times we ask that question in groups to discover no one's asked them that.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
at first
they
they're
might have
almost,
been asked, why are we failing?
yeah, what's
Turns out
wrong?
nobody likes that one.
Yeah. Or what's wrong with you guys? Or the classic why question. Why can't you get this done?
Yeah. Yeah.
It just starts a fight. And
Defensive,
especially,
defensive, defensive.
yeah, especially when it's cross departmental,
Yeah.
because it's so easy. All right, so why can't you get these cars out faster?
Yep.
Well, those guys, yeah, there's
That's it.
there's always somebody to point at, right? But if you have everybody in the same room at the same time and you say, all right, what's getting in our way? It's hard for me to throw the other guy under the bus.
Yep.
It feels like you sincerely want to know. And we talk about it, right? I say we, the frontline people executing the process, talk about it every single day.
That's right.
Geez, why don't we just, if we would do this, it would be so much easier. But nobody asked us.
Yep. That's it. And so let's talk about the second question because it's sort of the flip side. This is a current state question. What's getting in our way? What are the problems we're having right now that are getting in the way? Well, getting in the way of what, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the future state question is what would success look like?
Mm-hmm.
What would success look like? And we use this all the time with clients when we're contracting for what exactly it is that they want us to help them with is, if we were successful on what you want to hire me for, what would success look like? What would you see differently? What are the things that would turn around? What are some tangible bits of evidence that this has worked? So what would success look like? You leave it really open-ended because it needs to go where they're going to go.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the idea that, yeah, what would it look like from an individual standpoint, right? Your department standpoint, what would it look like from the customer standpoint?
There it
And,
is.
and so, yeah, in my department, success would look like this. Okay, and
Hmm.
then the next guy's going to say, in my department, success would look like this.
Yep.
And so everybody's got a different view of what would work, and then the idea of what's getting in the way
Yep.
of us reaching that nirvana state
Yep.
now becomes, you get more tangible, realistic ideas.
I think that's really well said. And then a third question, and this is something that you have asked me, asked teams that I've been a part of, asked your clients from the beginning of time, as near as I can tell. What will you do more or better or different or less? You sort of cover all the ground there, Mike, when you put it that way.
Oh yeah, yeah. That one just yeah, leaves no room for wiggle.
Yep.
So the idea of what will you do more implies, yeah, you're already doing it. Yeah, if we do
Hmm.
more of it, would that be a beneficial thing?
That's it.
Do it better. We're doing it, but yeah, can we kaizen? Can we improve it a little bit? Different is a nice way of saying we're not currently doing this. Maybe we could add this to our game. And then less, right? Less is always that one always gets people because everybody thinks in order to make something better, you got to add something.
Right.
I'm going to do more of this, right? I'm going to do this better. I'm going to do this different, which implies an add. But sometimes you have to give them the option to say, if we stop doing
Yep.
this, it would really help us, right? So by giving them the chance to take away something or just stop doing something, really opens the possibilities up.
And I think that's a great place to go ahead and insert our wrap up challenge to our listeners. We would like you to do something less. That's our challenge to you is take one of these questions. What's getting in our way? What would success look like? What will you do more, better, different, or less? Take that question into your next meeting and ask it and then do less talking. Just shut up and listen. Let people, enjoy the silence. Like let that happen in the room and listen for the ideas to bubble up as people wrestle with the question you just laid in front of them. Talk less.
Oh yeah, yeah. And we're big fans of make it visual.
Mm-hmm.
because the ideas are offered up, right? We're big fans of post-it notes. We're big fans of flip charts,
Yep.
whiteboards, right? And interestingly enough, you could, if you're leading this, you could go ahead and be the scribe.
Yeah.
And, a lot of times, I want to sit and listen. Well, then there's that temptation to talk,
Yep.
but it's very difficult to write down what people are saying and talk.
Yep.
So here's a helpful tip on how you can keep quiet after you
Yep.
ask one of your great questions.
Yep.
Yeah. If
Keeps
you're
it less
making the
awkward.
notes, yeah, you're by default will probably not be trying to add value to the answers that you're getting.
Yeah. Well said. So you don't need to have the answer. You need to create space for better answers to emerge, and that's sort of the theme of what we're talking about here. We're gonna have we think we're sort of doing this on the fly, but we think our next episode is going to be titled "The Retention Question That Stopped Turnover in Its Tracks." And we have count them, five stories that overlap with each other on that one. So stay tuned for that episode.
Man, and because we're terrible at it, the AI must know that. And so the AI says,
Oh, yeah.
plug the book.
Oh, yeah. That part.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The book. Yeah. Go to Amazon, order the Inquiring Leader. Yeah. And then it says, encourage listeners to take the 30-day challenge. Yeah. In the back
Yeah.
of the book, there's a challenge, to apply some of the things in the books. Invite feedback. What question changed your leadership style? So, yeah.
Put that in the comments. That's a great question.
Bloop that down there. And then it says we should ask you to subscribe, review, and share. Yeah, do those things. That'd be good. Yeah. Thank goodness the AI is helping us do what we're terrible at, which
so
is
true.
self-promotion. Yeah, we're just not good.
But we even have we even have these bookmarks.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
my goodness.
Yeah, with a QR code.
There's a QR code, doggone it. I'm going to put it up on the screen for anybody YouTubing this thing. And right here now, you could go get you a copy. So,
oh, that's awesome. So stay tuned. We'll deep dive into another chapter in the book. And in the meantime, I think it's palatable how you can hear the excitement in our announcer's voice as he takes us out.
And that's a wrap. The musings of Mark and Mike. No rights reserved, etc. Feel free to share and discuss what you heard today. Even claim the ideas as your own. Who'd want to do that? See you next time on It Doesn't Take a Genius. Thanks.
That's good enough.